Hello and welcome to the Jerick Show. That was a quick save. For those, you need to have reflexes like a hummingbird to catch me at work. So welcome to the Jerick Show, the story that brings you all the security, the news, the gossip, the scoop on everything that's good. We are like the Mike Tyson of the podcasting world in security. I can see Eric in the background making really weird faces, like that's a bad analogy, only because he doesn't appreciate boxing. But that sounds like a him problem, not me.
Welcome to The Jerick Show, featuring your hosts, Javvad Malik and Eric Krohn. Timely topics, poorly presented.
I was trying to think of another analogy to talk about our show, and maybe it's as relaxing as a relaxing spa day with a massage and those cucumbers on your eyes. No, not feeling the vibe. No, we are as great as Eminem in the rap world. And speaking of pasty white men, oh no. Hello, Eric. No, I was distracted because my pop-up came up saying that Chrome needs to restart for an update. And I was like, no, postpone.
Yeah, no, you've just not been on game today, man. You are not on point for sure, but that's okay. That's all right. You know what? It's Friday. It's the end of a week. And I can honestly say, as far as weeks go, this is probably one of the longest weeks of my life. Looking back at Monday seems like the 70s. If I think back to Monday, I think Chips should be on TV. Remember Chips, right?
Oh, Eric Estrada.
Yeah.
And his
we're
a bit like Chips.
Are we?
I'm like the star, Eric Estrada, who everyone knows, and you're like the guy that stars alongside him that gets replaced a few seasons down.
Wasn't it Ponch and God, what was it? Ponch and
exactly,
right?
See?
Oh man, yeah.
No one knows who the other guy was. They only remember Poncherelli, Eric Estrada.
Okay. Now I'm gonna have to Google that. But anyways, yeah, it's been a very, very crazy week around here. I mean, we had a hurricane, which we got lucky. Didn't hit where I am directly, but it was definitely looking like it was going to head that way. And then throw a little more fun out there. We're having a building built.
Yep.
And they were out there Monday morning. They started to unload everything, big metal building, and then said, oh no, a hurricane's coming. And so they loaded everything up and took it away. Well, then the hurricane came and went. And yesterday they said, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to put this all back together starting today. So they get out there yesterday. They put a good chunk of it up, like all the walls and stuff like that are up. And it turns out they screwed up the order. So it's all wrong. So now they have to go out today, tear it all back down. I mean, this has just been a week of, yeah, there we go. It's about time. I was waiting for you to come up with that, man. You were really slow today. But no, it's been a crazy week. Mm-hmm. How has your week been?
By comparison, I think I'm a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But you know what? No one's here to hear about my week or how I'm doing. They're here to find out about the news, about the security news.
Is that really why they come here, you think?
That's right.
It's not because they know us personally and
our one viewer comes here too. Okay. Have you heard of Classiscam? It's a fraud as a service.
Great.
And it's Group IB have done a good report on this, and they've said it's Telegram based. It recruits affiliates who use the service to do phishing kits to create fake ads and pages to steal money, credit card information, even bank creds.
Someone is at the front door.
And, hey, someone's at the front door.
I forgot to mute my Alexa. This is not good. So, Group
Computer,
IB
turn
published
off the
this.
lights. Sorry.
Quiet.
Oh, you changed the name, didn't you? Or you have headphones on.
I'm not telling you what the name is, what the trigger word is. But
All
this
right.
is a really good infographic for those on the podcast, especially listening. It's from Group IB, and it's showing like what the Classiscams, from 21 to 23. They've got 251 targeted brands. They target logistic companies, classified sites, bank transfer services, carpooling, 79 countries, nearly 1,400 groups. 38,000 participants. And here's the kicker: estimated earnings $64.5 million.
That's crazy.
If this was, this performs better than most publicly listed companies. If this was in Silicon Valley, you'd have VCs beating down the door to say, take my money, I want to invest in you. This is just some crazy, and then they've got some growth numbers and like number of countries and targeted brands, and it's just like on the upwards. This is like, if you take away the fact that they're engaged in criminal activity, this is so impressive.
That's something I've talked about quite a bit is how these organizations that are doing this kind of stuff are maturing, right? You have, this is the scam as a service, okay, but you have phishing as a service, you have ransomware as a service, you have all of these different as a service things out there that are run by very competent people. And I don't know if you've seen any of these as a service things, the dashboards that you get if you're participating in the group. But man, it's like marketing on steroids. You can do A/B campaigns and see who clicks on what and what doesn't work and what the percentage of conversion is. Like, these are seriously well-run organizations. And I think, unfortunately, people underestimate that way too much.
They do. And also what they found, which is interesting, is like the highest targeted focus is reserved for Europe, where Germany tops the list with the most profile victims, followed by Poland, Spain, Italy, and Romania. Point to be noted, none of these are native English-speaking countries, which is where we often find a lot of the attacks go, because it's easy to code or program or whatever, come up with these sites in English. But it could also mean that English-speaking people get a lot more awareness, or they get subjected to so many scams, they're less likely to fall for it. And when it's English is not your first language, maybe you get it's easier to scam you or something, or maybe the culture isn't there.
But then you go down to the line at the very bottom that says internet users from the UK lost the highest average amount per transaction.
That's because they're richer. That's all.
They're
just showing that Brexit made us richer. So like,
oh Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's very automated. They're saying that you can use Telegram bots to create phishing and scam pages in just a few seconds.
Yeah.
And here I am struggling with WordPress every time I need to write a post and log on to the thing and do this and do that. I mean, with all the integrations and everything, why can't I just yell into my phone or my Alexa and say, like, I want a post written on this, and here's my little rant, and then it publishes it, and then it's social media tweets it out, and then it creates an AI generated video from it.
Sounds like a great startup idea.
It does, doesn't it? It does. Anyway, Forever 21.
Oh yeah.
That's the
I don't shop there.
Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends. Yeah. But
oh, wow. Yeah, so it's a brand that's it's targeted towards a younger crowd, not me for sure.
Yeah.
But they had a pretty significant breach. 500,000 people. And in the initial ones I saw, it mostly focused on employees, both past and present. But this article is talking about perhaps customers as well. But I mean, this was a pretty significant one. I think they ended up losing like social security numbers, and look, there's my name. I was quoted there.
Oh, wow.
How about what a thought? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that is long lasting when you start losing social security numbers and stuff like that. And I guess what got me on this one was in the Forever 21, report or when they're talking about it, it was that flippant, oh, well, there's been no signs of anything going on sort of attitude. And I'm always like, man, when you dump this kind of information out there, how are you, how do you know? And it's going to be a little while before you can figure out that that's where whatever happened from. And this information over here never goes bad. I mean, our social security numbers, it's a nightmare to get a different one or to get a change on that. It is forever branded to you. And so, I hate it when organizations get a little flippant like that. Like, oh, nothing's happened, nothing to worry about. 500,000 people have been compromised, but no worries.
This just the headline here, Forever 21 says the situation is under control. And it just reminds me of the Leslie Nelson scene from Airplane, is it? Or Naked Gun, where the building's burning behind him. Everything's under control, folks. Nothing to see here. Just go.
Yeah. We talk a lot about how organizations respond to these sorts of things. And unfortunately, this is one of those ones that I just don't love what they've done here.
That's right. It's another. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Poland investigates cyber attack on rail network filed under Russia-Ukraine war.
Yeah. I saw this and I was like, wow, they have trains there. Because I live in America where there's probably 4 passenger trains for the whole country, right? And so for us, I guess we don't really realize how big a deal that is for a lot of things. But 20 trains were stopped over this attack. And that's pretty brutal. If you think about how these things have to be coordinated, where everything's passing and stopping and going. And, we see an airport get a hiccup here and it all goes downhill in a hurry, right? Because everything backs up. Well, the rails are no different with that. And a lot of people definitely rely on this to get around in there. So it's interesting to see these sorts of attacks going after countries like Poland already.
Well, Poland is like, as it says in the story here, like it's a hub for Western weapons being sent to Ukraine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, when you break it down, it's supply chain disruption. It's going after third parties, and so this is why it's an important thing from a cyber perspective. It's more than just the attack, because it was like, apparently they'd done a signal that triggered the emergency stoppage. But if someone really wanted to, they could coordinate, send 10 Russian agents onto 10 trains and pull the emergency thing at the same time, and it could have a similar-ish effect. But so it wasn't that. That's the cyber element of the attack is interesting because it allows remote disruption, what have you. But I think it's important just to keep in mind the bigger picture and the role that everyone plays in everything.
And I like that you made that point, because I think a lot of people talk about cyber warfare and stuff, and the next world war is going to be all cyber. Well, no, it's going to be supported by that, but it's largely going to be doing the same sort of tactics and techniques, only doing it digitally or from a distance, right? I mean, we know here in America, squirrels take down the power grid on occasion. So, you could 10 Russians swing a squirrel by the tail and throw it into a power station, and God only knows what's going to happen. But you're right. I mean, the same sorts of things that are being done digitally oftentimes were done in a more traditional manner in the back, or in the past. It's not like a cyber attack is going to win a war. A country is not going to be taken over because it's a cyber attack, but it will be supporting.
Unless it's Switzerland, which is like, oh, we're neutral. Net neutrality does not apply.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Well, that was fun.
So, this is just great. Isn't that just such like a Netflix show poster, like right there?
I love, that. I mean, someone in PR is just
Yeah.
dancing around, loving the way this is starting up right here with that picture. I mean, wow, that's pretty cool, man. But Qakbot taken down.
Quack, quack.
Quack. I mean,
You know,
Qakbot was pretty big.
Yeah.
Um,
So they've taken it down.
Yeah, it was a big player in the botnet side of things, which oftentimes is, DDoS stuff or whatever. There's lots of things you can do with a botnet. But yeah, this is another one of those joint things where we got together with other countries and coordinated the takedown,
Yep.
which it's awesome to see these stories on occasion.
It is. And there needs to be not just disruption of the network, but the key players need to be arrested, thrown in a hole for a long time as a huge deterrent to
Okay,
to
one
other
step at a
criminals.
time though, my friend. Okay, you're getting ahead of
One
yourself
step. I
here.
know. But I must say this is another example of what I say. Like, America, it might have very little, but it has the best marketing on the planet. Like, when you see the American flag, you don't think of a nation, you think of so many things, like Captain America and heroes and everything that it stands. And this story is another great example that we talked about the picture here. Then it's like a US led the US had to lead all these other nations, like because, like, obviously countries like France, Germany, Netherlands, Romania, Latvia, and the United Kingdom are incapable of coordinating anything without the mighty Americans jumping in and saving the day. But I love it. It's
Hey, I don't know how the U.S. ended up in charge of this. Okay,
neither do they.
But apparently we do.
What?
We did, right? According to the news article. So
let's take credit, whether we were or not. Let's take credit for
it.
I got the perfect picture opportunity.
Over in Romania, it's the Romanian-led takedown of. I mean, who knows?
But do you know where Americans really have failed to take the lead? On this show, and that's why we get rid of them quickly. So that's all we got time for today. We'll speak to you next week. Until then, stay secure, my friends.